planes, lots of people interested in flying. Lots of fun. Streak Whiskey Romeo 22 grass.
If they're coming in for the hard on this runway anyway, they assemble at Cardington, around about 2,000 feet, drop down to 1,200 feet, route towards Stewartby Brickworks, cross the motorway, turn right base south of the motorway, and then turn north onto final approach. And the VFR aircraft are in fact doing a similar sort of thing, but coming in from the west, and they're coming up to the other motorway junction, and then just turning left just before the others are turning. So it's quite difficult, I would think, for the grass aircraft to actually pick an easy aiming point. They can find the junction on the motorway okay, and they know that they've got to roughly fly east-southeast from there, but seeing it is difficult. The big bonus that Cranfield has got, in fact, it is normally an operational airfield, is the fact that we've actually got runway lights, which is a great bonus, especially on a hazy morning like today. Basically, it's a non-radio procedure, and we look at the situation, because obviously in the final stages of landing, the pilot's eyes are on the runway and he's looking ahead of him, and he's not necessarily good to see what's coming up fast behind him. So we give an instruction either to land long if there's somebody fairly tight in, So we can make a sort of instant decision as to what we think would be a good option. And of course the final option is always going to be the pilot. If he doesn't like it, he throws it away and goes back to Cardington or goes back to the junction on the motorway, whichever. Although the CAA require air traffic control here, probably 60% of the pilots here would rather not have air traffic control in inverted commas. But the remaining 40% are so used to air traffic control, he's so used to landing it right on the numbers on a runway, which is not what we want today. You know, we want them to land 2/3 of the way down the runway. They're not going to be able to turn off the runway until about another 1,200 meters. So for most aircraft, there's no point putting it down in the first 500, 600 meters of the runway.
Pilot of Warrior, Golf Oscar, Alpha, 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 is outside the PFA pavilion. Please attend it and move it immediately. Otherwise, Roger will move it with his pocket toy.
No brakes on it, let's move it. That's it, there we go. Okay, straight back.
I'm a member of the PFA, and you know, the spotting members are encouraged. Very popular hobby these days. You actually learn an awful lot, you know, with this way. If you'll, you know, you look up what they have. We all have, you find us with little books like civil aircraft markings and various booklets that have all the registrations in, so that you can, you know, identify what you've seen. Because a lot of these planes, they'll have been built by their owners. You know, the Popular Flying Association encourages that it's really about, you know, building your own and flying your own aircraft. I'm not very technically minded or no, very good with tools, you know, but they tell you that all you need is a riveting machine and a screwdriver, and you can assemble some of these planes. Whether I be the one that wants to go up a loft first of all to find out whether my riveting is very good enough, I don't know.
A very sensible decision there, I think.
If you have no problem, I certainly don't. It looks fine from here.
Yeah. See, I told you we'd save the go-around. We've put in this microlight strip for the first time this year because we had a lot of problems with the microlights because they're necessarily slow. And the pacer there obviously was catching up somebody else, and rather than go around, he elected to land on the microlight strip, which was an eminently sensible decision. He's just won our award for Sensible Person of the Morning.
The Yak 11, its origins were in the fighter, but from the Yak 3. Designed in 1943, they wanted a two-seat trainer, which was handling just like the current frontline fighters. So he took a frontline fighter, took a big engine out the front, put 700 horsepower in it, and then another seat. And this is what you've got, the Yak 11. First flew in 1945. This one's actually got a bullet hole through it. It's diagonal through the side. It's small arms fire. So I found, I saw the patches on the side, and I thought, a repair of some sort. Then when I took a plate off and found that it was all curved out, I realised it was a bullet. It certainly had extra machine guns put in the wings, and there was marks where something else was screwed to the fuel tank panels. Maybe it had extra rocket racks put on or something. In terms of speed, speed per pounds, you've got the Harvard, which was fetching about 100,000 pounds. The next step up was the Mustang, 500. Nothing in between in terms of price, except the Yak 11. The Yak 11 at the time, and Harvards were 100,000, was about 130 to 140,000. So for only 30,000 more, you could have an aeroplane which went almost twice as fast as the Harvard. It was halfway between the Harvard and the Mustang in terms of performance. As we're talking about the Mustang, that has got a faster roll rate than the Mustang, and the ailerons are light. Mustang, at high speed, you need two hands to make it roll. That's one-handed, in pitch and roll. And the rudder, you hardly need to use it anyway. This is a balanced flying aeroplane.
I bought it off the previous owner who ground looped it. It had damaged the lower wing and the undercarriage. We've recovered it, obviously replaced anything that was damaged, the undercarriage, the port lower wing. The engine had to have a shock load, the propeller was new, so the engine's been rebuilt as well. And we researched the colour scheme to do it in its original Luftsportverband colours, which was the equivalent of the German Air Cadets as a training aircraft at Darmstadt in 1936. So it's fairly authentic in its colour scheme, but this one actually was a ex-Spanish Air Force one that had survived on Tenerife, and it originally came back from the Gran Canaries. I operate it from a strip at home. I keep it at home at the back of my house, and I have a strip on a disused aerodrome. I live on a disused aerodrome, and I love the aeroplane. Should have had one years ago.
There are many interesting schools to come and have a look at. China, herbs, aromatherapy, lots of charity stalls, knitwear, and at 12:30 there will be a very interesting talk by someone from the RSPCA. So please don't forget to come and visit us and have some free tea and coffee. Thanks.
Thanks very much indeed. Okay, lovely. I've left all the washing instructions on for you. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Some of them are quite happy to be wandering about as long as they've got the checkbook, They think if their husbands are spending lots of money on their favourite hobby, then that gives them the sort of the right to do the same. So they're out to spend money, which is quite good for us. But it's great because, we meet people from Norway and Sweden, and they come from France and America. It's quite amazing, the cross-section of the community.
My husband's building one, a Vans RV4, and he's in the Gloucester Strat, so he's in one of the stores in the large marquee.
The modern engine has the carburettor heat control, which there is a problem with carburettor icing in engines because of the, especially in Britain at low throttle settings, carburettor icing is a problem, and it can sort of the engine of the fuel-air mixture and actually cause the engine to fail. So de Havillands were very clever in designing this particular system, because this is a filter here which takes hot air from the crankcase, and any engine RPMs lower than about 1800, the air is taken from that through that air filter, which is bringing in hot air. So there's no opportunity for the carb ice to form. At high power settings, obviously using warm air isn't a good idea because you get a power loss. And at high power settings, if I open the throttle, that little shutter would clamp over this where the hot air is coming through, and you would get cold air going into the engine through this little inlet here, and that would increase the power at full throttle. So it does away with the need for a completely separate carb heat system. It's one of the carb heat check on modern aeroplanes is one of the things that features quite a lot in checklists. And on this particular aeroplane, we haven't got a separate carburetor heat control. It's all virtually done automatically for you. Quite a feature for 1936 or whatever.
The PFA are signing a memorandum of understanding today with Customs and Excise, and basically the memorandum of understanding is an agreement on an anti-drugs alliance, where they will be encouraging their members to be our eyes and ears, to be Customs and Excise and eyes and ears on airfields, on the airports, etc., anywhere that they tend to move in their own natural activities, and to provide us with information on activities that they feel are unusual or suspect. It did happen quite recently where an aircraft went to an airfield not too far from here in Bedfordshire, and where there was something in the region of 32 kilos of cocaine on board the aircraft. And that was one that we successfully intercepted. So obviously we don't know, we can't put a figure on the number that we don't successfully intercept. So really information and intelligence is our lifeblood. We need it.
A booking intent to Route 12 Stuart Mechanica. This is Gomez. Can you pass a message to Stuart Mechanica that we are at the Wookiee Hole at the moment, loading trophies? Is he ready to go on this for the award ceremony at 6 o'clock? Yes, I've just had a word in, okay? I heard you talking on the air, and he says that he should be up with you about 17:20, over. Good stuff.
We're engraving the medals for the home-built aircraft that have come in. So they get a medal which has got this year's date on, and the aircraft registration on the other side. That's the medal. And then when they come along and give us the registration, that goes on the other side. There we are.
Must be, what, a couple of thousand airplanes here?
We've had 1,200 up to 1645,
Have you
sir.
really?
Yes. And something like 25,000 visitors by road.
That's terrific.
So we've broken
isn't
all
it?
the records.
My goodness, quite right too. I think one of the nice things about the PFA is not only that it provides a body where all the private pilots and aircraft owners and people who build their own aircraft can feel that they belong to, but also that they represent the interests of those people to such bodies as the CAA, with whom I know we have very close ties, which is splendid.
Well, if you've read in the magazine, we've just been given a very good concession by the CAA. They've now allowed us to build aircraft with 4 seats and bigger engines, whereas previously we were restricted to 2 and certain horsepower. So we're really very, very delighted
well,
with
that's
that.
very encouraging.
First one I sat down trying to go up that strip. Oh really? The very first one.
Called Sod's Law, isn't it?
Yeah. You see this rather nicely mown strip of grass alongside the runway? Yeah. It's attracting them like, yeah, have a go. That's also to the left of the runway, but so is that one to the left of the runway. They want that one, which is to the left of the caravan.
I had an undercarriage collapse Thursday night. This is on the Cranfield controller before the PFA took over. We had one undercarriage collapse Thursday night. And I think they had another one. You had another one yesterday?
Yeah, Condor just down here.
So actually it's been relatively incident-free so far.
Right.
We had a tail wheel snap this morning off an Ulster.
They'll be getting out of it.
with this sort of fact of life sort of happens.
And the winner of the Pooley Sword for the best replica, the Fokker DR1 triplane, Robin Bowes. Where's Robin? Here he comes.
The President's joystick for service to the PFA has been awarded this year to our Chairman of the Rally Committee, Steve Petter. Sorry I laughed, but there's a private joke in there. The Lois Parker Trophy, also for services to the Popular Flying Association, has been awarded as much for his work in the strut as for his taking over as the treasurer and as part of the ULAIR, Brian Hope. The winner of the Pilot Trophy for Concours d'Elegance. Oh, I can't believe this. It's true. Mark and John Jeffries for the Yak 11. Yes, absolutely brilliant. I would say that without a fly on their script. You're not going to sell him a T-shirt, are you, Mark? And if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolutely beautiful restoration and very well worthy of the commendation. Never misses a trick, does he, eh? Well done, Mark. The winner of the John Randall Trophy for the best vintage pre-1946 is John Bygraves with the Waco Bravo Whiskey Alpha Charlie. Well done, John.
He's doing well, eh?
Hang on to both halves, that one's going to fall apart. The winner of our Premier Award for 1995 is the Pitts S1 Golf Lima India Tango Zulu, Kevin L. and Jay Hughes.
One spends about 2 years with a pile of bits that look nothing like an aeroplane, but you've been working every day on it. So that's all a bit disheartening, and then you start to put bits and pieces together, and all of a sudden you find you've got a wing or a rudder, and you think, yeah, well, there's a bit of an aeroplane there, and I must have spent about 50 hours flying this thing around the garage. I couldn't afford to buy one, so I built one. The thing with the Pitt Special, it has just about as much performance as you could ever want out of an aeroplane that's very affordable to fly. It's fast, it's very distinctive to look at. There are a lot of modern aerobatic monoplanes around which perform fabulously, but they simply don't have the character, the visual character of the Pitts for me. You've got to hug them and treat them gently, and this is definitely the sort of fifth member of the family now, really. So we all come up and give it a polish every now and again, and you know, if we can't fly it, we go you know, sort of hug it and pet it, and then go back to the Aero Club for a drink.
The atmosphere, the flying, the camaraderie. I'm meeting people who I haven't met for 12 months since the last rally. It's just a whole wonderful atmosphere of people enjoying the freedom of flight and all of the things that surround it.
I had an hour's flying, or maybe an hour and a quarter's flying over water. From the county down coast to the point of Ayr. What's the town? Rill. North Wales. And I suppose we were 5 miles off that before we saw the coast.
No visibility.
Visibility wasn't good over the water.
We can check the Decker with the GPS, you know. I think GPS is probably the greatest thing for small airplanes that's ever been, you know, in the last number of years.
So we would have come today and we wouldn't have been more than 0.1 or 0.2 of a mile off a straight line the whole way, except the time Gordon was flying here. And then we were 0.6 off a mile.
And as actually, it was me that paid for the GPS.
Is there anybody in tonight from the Civil Aviation Authority? I'll speak a bit slower there. I was coming down here on Friday, and Castle Donington, that used to be East Midlands, is now East Midlands again. It said to me, can you climb to 3,000 feet for noise abatement? I said, how the hell will that get any difference in a bloody tri-base? They said at 3,000 feet, you'll miss the tornado that's coming towards you at 2,000 feet. I asked him for a time check. He said, what nationality are you? I said, what the bloody hell relevance has that got? He says, if you're English, it's 1,800 hours. He says, if you're Irish, the big hands at the top and the little ones at the bottom. He says, if you're Scottish, it's 6 o'clock and the pubs are open. And if you're Welsh, it's Friday. The toilets here are pretty good compared to Roten. If you remember Roten last year, the toilets were absolutely horrendous. They called the guy out, professional bog unblocker. They were there 5 minutes, plunged it twice, charged 50 quid. My mate, who was a British Airways airline pilot, he said 50 quid for 5 minutes. He says, I don't get that. He says, and I'm an Airways pilot. Bloke says, no, he says, I didn't get that when I were an Airways pilot either. The non-existent storm warning last night was sponsored by Acme Tie Downs Limited.
Your best after you've been camping for 3 days. Up at 6 in the morning, bed at 5 in the morning.
Come on,
There's an hour in
I've
between.
never seen you.
When you work from 5 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, you don't really need all the aggravation of the people that just come here to enjoy themselves. You know, it's just a system, that's all. Having moved from Rawton to here, we ran 9 rallies here before, and having run rallies at Rawton and then coming onto a site like this again, we have problems because we really haven't got the size here that we had when we were there. Consequently, all the working party are in with just anybody, you see. As you can well imagine, even with your job. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be woken up 2 o'clock the following, you know, the next morning.
Started off as a karaoke night and didn't get going until about 10 o'clock, and then suddenly everybody took on the idea and it was great. It was a fabulous evening. Joint was jumping and heaving more like, actually. The last total I heard on the field was 1,250 aircraft on a Saturday. We had a record-breaking Friday with 650 aircraft. It was great. And there's the little air show this afternoon, aerial demonstration of PFA types. Just waiting for an air show briefing at the moment. So here's the commentary again.
I'm hoping to fly in the little French amphibian, the Petrel. That's going over to the lake at Stewartby, and hoping to fly from the water and back onto the water. So that'd be something a bit unique. I've been in a few seaplanes, a couple of flying boats, but this is a really tiny one. It would be the smallest one I've been in.
Once it's built as a kit, to assemble from the lorry should take about half an hour, we expect, and it should be up and flying at that time. It's going to be expensive as a kit. Stella Artois advertised that their product is reassuringly expensive, and the same thing applies, but we expect that a kit will be available to build, which will get one up and flying for probably less than £20,000, and within the next 6 months or so. You need to have a rating, a seaplane rating in this country to fly off water, but that's a 5-hour rating addition to your PPL. It's like a very fast speedboat. The water actually is a tremendous drag actually as you touch down, but it's very powerful with the 80 horsepower Rotax engine, and from still in the water it can get up and flying in about 150 metres. It gets straight onto the plane and then 2 bumps and is away. Marvellous.
The air show is an important part of what we do, because all around you for the previous 3 days you've been looking at the excellence of our members' work in building aeroplanes, modifying them, restoration and all that kind of thing. Now this afternoon there is an opportunity to see the excellence of the pilotage skills of some of our PFA members. Now some of them are professional air display pilots as well. Several of the aircraft that are flying are home builds. In one particular case, Mark Jeffries built it himself. He's competed in World Aerobatic Championships with it, and he does air displays with it. So that's an all-round talent. But apart from that, we've got things being demonstrated like the Europa, which is a great piece of British technology, and selling it. It's reversing the trend of American imports and selling extremely well. We also have a Fokker triplane and an SE5, which are hopefully going to do a dogfight. And I understand the Fokker triplane gets shot down at the end of it. This year is the 50th anniversary of the Pitt Special, which is one of the most celebrated aerobatic aircraft of all time. And we've got 2 examples flying today. Denny Dobson, who is a local pilot from Cranfield, will be flying, and then Alan Wade will be flying the Mike Release Pitts, who is probably the best known Pitts exponent on the airshow circuit at the moment.
It is without doubt one of the most exciting general aviation aircraft available, and while we're obviously a little bit biased, this is a view that has been put forward by almost any magazine editor that has ridden in them. You learn to fly in a very, very basic, simple aeroplane, but if you keep on flying in that, you'll very soon get bored of it, so you get into something that's more exciting. We've got people that have owned Pittses for 10 and 15 years, and they say that it is exciting flying it now as it was 15 years ago. Every flight is different. Every flight is challenging. You can never relax, because if you do, you're going to have an accident. So it keeps you on your toes. Why do people climb mountains? Because they're there. Why do they fly these things? Because they're the most exciting form of flying you can get, other than strapping yourself into some military hardware, which is usually beyond the pocket of most private individuals. So in private flying terms, you've got here one of the most exciting airplanes that you'll ever fly. It's difficult to describe, but it is often described by Pitts owners as being the most fun you can have while keeping your clothes on. And that is one of their favourite phrases. It really is a whole different experience. We're selling excitement, we're selling a challenge, and the satisfaction that goes with it, because not everybody can fly these things. It's like a Formula One racing car. If you or I got into a Formula One racing car, we wouldn't get it off the grid, because the clutch is so vicious, the steering's so positive, we're just spinning. It's as simple as that. And it's similar with this. It is a high-performance aeroplane. You've got to be a competent pilot to be able to fly it. So a flight in the Pitts is an infectious disease. And we've had lots of people that have flown in them and have now devoted the rest of their lives into trying to find some way to actually buy one. Some will succeed, some won't. But they really are a superb aeroplane.
You can do anything with a Pitts. Just fly it around straight and level. It's an acceleration. Every flight, you get a buzz out of flying the machine. You just to go and do a circuit in the Pitts or an Eagle. It's a fantastic machine. Just can't describe. You have to go off and fly one. Or if you don't fly yourself, you'll have to go off in a two-seater with a pilot.
The air display pilot's briefing will be in 10 minutes' time. That's at 12 o'clock at noon on the grass in front of the control tower.
You know, I lost those boots.
Quite what that'll do in an aeroplane, I don't know. Makes you wonder where people find this stuff, to be honest. Yes, it seems to have a decimal point there somewhere. What it's supposed to do, I'm not quite sure, but it looked almost Russian to start with, but it says Collins, which is American, so...
Yesterday and Friday, I think we did 1,200 badges. You meet everybody along here.
Every minute.
This is the best spot to be. What's that for? Oh, me? Yes, thank you, Dave. We meet everybody along here. It's a superb job, this one. Best job on the site, this one. No hassle.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
All right,
Thanks very much.
As I think everybody knows, I'm Barry Smith. For my sins, I'm the organiser of this display. Jeff Greavy on my left is in charge of the air traffic control and will be the person speaking to you on the radio. He'll give you a separate briefing on that part of it. We have a sensitive noise area 1 mile to the northeast.
Make it to the north to northwest now, Barry. We've pinpointed his little farm. North to the northwest. It's a gentleman who does dairy farming.
Yes.
So you can annoy the crops, but not the cows, apparently.
Right. So those that have got airborne starts that need to hold somewhere, can I suggest just due west? You won't be very far away, but that way you won't be in conflict with what's happening on live side. All pilots have already received a copy of the airfield plan, which shows the crowd line, the 100-metre line and the 150-metre line. Is there anybody who has not received that drawing? you will get one immediately we've finished. All pilots flying in the display are DA holders. Therefore, I would reasonably expect that everybody knows the limits to what they can fly to with regard to the crowd and the minimum heights. The minimum height for this display is as per your DA. But can I make the point that it's a very, very deep crowd line, and so that anything that is very low is totally wasted on the vast majority of the crowd.
The runway in use is 22. Surface wind at the moment is variable magnetic 240 to 290. The tap is for 240 at 10 knots, so it's virtually down the runway.
There are still at least 100 pilots or so that haven't booked in yet. Any pilots who arrived by air and haven't yet booked in at the pilot's booking in tent, could you please do so as soon as possible? Thank you.
Well, taxiing out. What is your call sign? Well, taxiing out. What is your call sign? Just leave it. Cranfield, we're closed at the moment to inbound traffic due to an air show. Cranfield approach of takeoff connect November on holding point 22A, ready for departure after landing. Negative, negative. Hold position. Yodel, hold position. We have an air show in progress at the moment. Hold position.
we've had a fabulous rally. We've broken all the records from the point of attendance. We've broken records from the points of numbers of aircraft that have come in on a single day. We haven't broken the Rawton record because we had 1,562 aircraft, whereas at Rawton we had 1,800, but that's unqualified. The membership of the PFA has gone over 8,000 for the first time in its history. We're now over 8,050. The weather is gorgeous. The members have been saying what a wonderful rally it is and how nice it is to be back to Cranfield. The pilots like it because it is a nice airfield to fly from. The exhibitors have all said they've had a record year. The treasurer is walking around with a smiling face. The air traffic controllers have said there's been no problems with air traffic, and generally it's been a fabulous rally. I'm really delighted.
The best thing was the party last night. We had a heck of a party last night. It's been a glorious 3 days, really. Pretty glorious 3 days.
Excuse me.
Departure briefing.
Departure brief.
FBG, that means you've been briefed for draft departure. Okay, I'll write the ATIS on the back, which you'll listen to.
This is point Echo, holding point Echo.
Only,
When you get there,
and that's the draft departure 12320. Have your power checks done prior to reaching the holding point. Thank you very much for coming. See you soon. Bye bye.
Number 1 for departure.